Breaking. Welcome to Adulting with Donnie. Live on a early Sunday afternoon. It's only 2 o'clock right now when I'm recording, which is super early for me. But I'm trying to get it out of the way. I got a busy. Actually, no, it's not even Sunday. It's Monday. Uh, yeah, it's Monday because I had the day off. Today's 4th of July observed, because 4th of July fell on a Sunday. So because it fell on a Sunday, I get to have the observed holiday, which is nice. Uh, I'll never turn down 2 days off, especially when one of them is paid, which is a beautiful thing. Yeah, long weekend for most people. All those normal people that work a Monday to Friday job. I always thought that like it would be super cool to work a Monday to Friday job where like you can take Friday, like a weekend like this. You could take Friday off, leave work on like Thursday night, take one vacation day on Friday, and then you're off until Tuesday morning. Um, I always thought that would be super cool. That'd be something awesome to do. Unfortunately for me, to get 2 days off, I have to, use vacation days and stuff. Normally, obviously, this is different because yesterday was just the normal day off for the post office, and then today is 4th of July observed, so I get to have today off. Like yeah, until a second ago, I forgot that it was even Monday. I still thought that it was Sunday, despite having yesterday off. Also, I pulled up to my place and my father was walking down the road and he's like, "Oh, what do you have today off?" And I said, "No, it's 4th of July observed." So yeah, here I am. Just recording my show real quick. Not much going on today. It's Monday, so I still got up and ran today, which was nice. This is the start of week 4 of my exercise program. Last week was fucking ridiculously hot. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It was like into the 90s each day. I walked out the door at like 5:30 in the morning, and it's just too hot to run. Like that was what killed me a few years ago when I was running all the time. Was I'd get up, I'd walk outside, it'd be too gross to run, and I would be unwilling to just like it didn't even occur to me to just go to the gym and run on the treadmill. I was like, no, I got to run on the road. Last week when I knew it was going to be so hot, I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna go to the gym. So I ended up going to the gym every day. Like normally, my normal schedule here is to run Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and usually I run like around Rose apartment complex because it works out to be about 2 miles, 2.5 miles. I gotta do some finagling with it to get to 2.5 miles. I have to run through some business parking lots and stuff. But for the most part, I can just I can just run along the road and never really touch the same place twice, which I also like that. Like that always bothered me when I was like running in the military, and it'd be like we're gonna do laps around this place, and it's like I don't want to run past the finish line. Like that's something that always bothered me. I have no interest in running past the finish line, because if the finish line is someplace, then why am I running past it? There's the finish line right there. I don't want to run past the finish line. So Rose Place is great for running outdoors because I can still run. Um, I can run in this. I don't even want to call it a square or a circle or whatever, but I run my route, I guess. And there's a couple times where I see the same place twice, but it's like I'm running past them real quick. I'm not running along the same stretch of road. I never run across the same stretch of road twice, which is great. I also don't like to stop at like but then that's the problem with running around her place. Like my route that I run right now is 2.5 miles, and I don't have to stop at any lights, but there are like if I wanted to stretch it out to like 3 miles, then I'm gonna have to cross some busy streets. And I see some people who will like stop, hit the crosswalk button, and then wait, and they'll like run in place while they do. But I don't want to do that either. Like I just don't want to stop. As soon as I start, I don't want to stop until it's time to stop. So yeah. So last week I went to the gym every day instead of running on the road, which was actually really nice to not have to do that. Um, so, but yeah, I skipped last week. I told you guys, skipped last week as far as the podcast. Told you guys a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, I guess, that my father had run into some medical issues. So, I gotta check my phone here. Okay. Um, my phone was vibing out. Um, yeah, my father had some medical issues, so I took 3 days off from work and kind of did some work around his place that he needed done, uh, and got that stuff done and got, you know, but just it wasn't enough. I mean, there's so much stuff to do around his place. Like, there's no shortage of work to be done. So last week, I usually do these on Monday. For the last few months, I do them on Monday. And so last Monday, I got here at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. And, and I just started working on his farmhouse that he's been rebuilding. And god damn it, it was so hot. I mean, it had to have been 95 degrees outside. Inside of this uninsulated farmhouse, easily 105, 110 degrees, easily. Um, and I just started working in there. And once I started going in there, a lot like the running thing, like once I started going, I just I just kept going and I didn't want to stop. And then Ro was on her way here at like 10 past, I think it was like 10 past 9. And I'm still working down there. And so she texted me when she got here and I was like, okay, I'm done. And then I come up to my place and, and then, I didn't feel like, it's after 9 o'clock. She's here. Not that I have any issue with doing a podcast while she's here. In fact, I hope to have her back on the show soon, because she hasn't been on in way too long. I feel like we have so much to catch up on, to fill you guys in on and make jokes with each other, and you can see just how awesome we are. But I, I didn't feel like doing it then, and then the rest of the week went on, and I didn't. Excuse me. I either didn't have time, or there was just too much other stuff to do. So. Yeah, that's why I missed last week. But my father, he's doing okay. I mean, it's a weird thing, and I'm not getting into what what's going on, but it sucks watching your parent get old. And I think there's a lot of denial, not on my part, not on just one specific person's part, because it's also on my part. But I think there's a lot of denial going on between me, between him, between my sister, my dad's girlfriend. And it's because, if you look at him, if you talk to him, everything seems fine. But if you talk to him for an extended amount of time, you might be like, okay, yeah, something's wrong. So it sucks, but we're getting through it. So there's that. But like I said, I have much to catch up on. So 2 weeks ago, just over 2 weeks ago now, me and Ro went and played in a cornhole tournament. And I probably have played cornhole, I don't know, 2 or 3 times in the last 15 years. And the last time may have been 10 years or more ago. So here's what happened, right? So about a month and a half ago, maybe, Rose says that she wants me to have, like, she has softball, right? And of course I have snowmobiling and I have flying airplanes. Snowmobiling is kind of not in the picture right now because, like I just said, it's 95 degrees outside. I can't really do anything about that. And flying is so goddamn expensive. Although I did fly just this past week. And I'll tell you guys about that in a moment. But that's just so fucking expensive. I mean, it's a car payment. Every time that I fly, it's a car payment. So that's something that I can't do 2 or 3. I wish I could do it 2 or 3 times a week. I just can't. Maybe once I can fly by myself, I don't need an instructor with me every time. Maybe then it'll be a little more affordable because the cost of renting the airplane and stuff, all of that drops. The instructor itself is $55 an hour. So, you figure every lesson is about 2.5 hours. So that's a little over $150 every time. So that's where a lot of that cost, well, maybe not a lot of that cost, but half of the cost is coming from just having the instructor in the plane with you. So And it sucks. I'll talk about flying. I'll get there. So she was like, I want you to have your thing, like something that's for you. So she turns me on to this website. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like they set up like, adult softball leagues, adult volleyball leagues, cornhole leagues, and all this different stuff, basketball leagues, all this stuff, all the different stuff that's going on in the area that you can sign up for. There's a cost. It's like, most of them seem to be about $25, give or take, to sign up. And so I looked at this website, and I was interested in the softball thing. I think I talked to you guys about that a few weeks ago. But I was also interested in the cornhole thing as something that her and I can do together. So she found a thing on Facebook that was like a cornhole tournament that was coming up. It was like, the proceeds went to this town. I think it was Southampton, New Hampshire. The proceeds went to them rebuilding their basketball court because their basketball court was falling apart. So, she finds this thing and says, maybe we can go do this. So that was, I don't know, about a month ago or more. And so a week before it, I put it in our calendar with a question mark, like, maybe we'll go do this. And she saw that was in the calendar, and she was like, yeah, definitely, I want to go do that. I said, okay, great. So we went to go do that, and so we get there and, get our names in and whatever, and all the like we're pulling up there, and I'm expecting to see like maybe 6 2-person teams. And I think we pulled up and there was 11 boards and more people than there were. Like, by 11 boards, I mean, there was like 22 boards, 11 on each side. And so, I mean, that's it. And there was more people than there were boards. So there must have been about 30 people or so, 30 to 35 people, which was a great turnout. So, sorry, a dog just ran over my head, and I thought that something was crashing behind me. So anyway, so there's more people than there are boards. So the whole thing was like, look, we're gonna start with the 11 teams. We're gonna start with these 11 teams, and we'll just work everyone in. So we end up in the first 11 teams, and I looked at Ro and I was like, so how's this game played? She kind of freaked out. She was like, what do you mean? How's the game? I thought that you played this before. And I was like, I know how the game is played. Like, obviously, you're taking a beanbag and throwing it across the way and trying to get it in the hole at the other end. But like, my question was more like, how are the points done? Like, I don't know how the points are done. I don't know what means what. Like, whatever. That was more my question. But it was funny that she was like, I thought that you played this before. I thought, what do you mean? How's it played? I thought that, whatever. And then, so we lost the first game. Now, granted, the first game that we played was against her friends, Mel and Michael, which, by the way, Michael, the next day, was playing softball and had kind of a crash on playing softball. And hurt his leg in some way. Hurt his leg or his ankle, something like that. It was bad enough that he had to go to the hospital. So shouts out to Michael. I hope that you're feeling better. It's been a little over a week now since that happened. So hopefully all is better there. But we played against these two, and this kid Michael, he is a ringer. When it comes to cornhole, like, he was just on fire and destroyed us in the game. Like, I think that we lost, like, if I remember correctly, it's first to 21. First team to 21 points. But if it's like 18 to 21, then you reset the points to 17 because you have to win by 4. So yeah, we lost like 21 to, I think it was like 1 or maybe even 3. So we lost pretty hard to them, and it was a quick game. Like, it was 5 minutes and we were done. So then, we hang out to the side because it's a double elimination. So we hung out off to the side, and Ro had bean bags, cornhole bags, whatever the fuck you want to call them. She had her own with her. So she pulls out her bags, and she pulls out some Market Basket reusable shopping bags, and she sets them down on the grass, and then we practiced. The whole practice was, here, we'll each throw the bag from one end to the other, and the goal is to hit the Market Basket shopping bag. So we did that, and round two, we did a lot better. We still lost, but it took a while to lose, which was, more encouraging. Um, I think we lost that game I think it was 21 to, I don't know, 12 or 14, something like that, against a different couple who they were awesome. And it was cool to just get out and meet some new people and hang out. And, there was drinking allowed. So we had a few beers and hung out. So that was fun. And then the next night we celebrated our 1 year anniversary by going to Manchester, because our 1 year anniversary was June 24th, so this would have been on June 26th. We celebrated by going to Manchester, New Hampshire. We got a hotel room for the night, and we went to a place called Cactus Jack's, and Ro wore this fucking killer dress. So way back in November of 2020, we were walking around downtown together, downtown Portsmouth. We're walking around together, and she says she sees a dress in this window. This place called Summer Sessions. So she sees a dress in the window, and she says, "Oh wow, I like that dress." So I store it away in my brain, and then so a couple days later, and she's always buying stuff for me. It's incredible, the stuff that she buys for me. She's always buying stuff for me. I mean, she's just constantly like, "Here, I found this for you. I thought this was cool. Hey, I like this." So we're walking around, and she gave it to me as a gift. One of the things that she gave to me, I was like, "It's not even she was like, "It's Veterans Day, so here, happy Veterans Day." So, and she's a veteran too. So I get her this dress, and I gave it to her on Thanksgiving, and it's like a summer dress type of thing. It's got all these sunflowers on it. I think they're sunflowers, and it's black with sunflowers on it, and looking at it in the window, it looks like it's pretty tight on this form fitting is, I think, the word I might use, or figure fitting, something like that. That's what it looks like in the window, and then I buy it, and it looks really I bought it in a small because that's her size, and I thought it looked really very loose, like it would fit on her, and I think she even tried it on when I gave it to her, and it still looked pretty loose, but it's got these ties on the back so that you can tie it, and then it looks much better, and oh my god, yeah. So Saturday night, I get out of work, and I went to her place to pick her up. And she comes downstairs in this dress, and I was like, God damn. Oh, she looked good. She always looks good, but man, this dress, she was killing it in this dress. So we went to Cactus Jack's in Manchester. It's like a Mexican place. Mexican-themed place, I guess is the best way to put it. Kind of like margaritas, similar to margaritas. It's a chain restaurant, but it's like a chain attached to, I think, Outback Steakhouse, maybe? So we went there because it was my mother's favorite restaurant. I ate there a ton of times with my parents. When I worked at that movie theater in Bedford, we used to always get out of work at the movie theater, and we'd go to Cactus Jack's after works to hang out. We'd get out of the movie theater at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and we'd all go to Cactus Jack's and have drinks. And I mean, this is way back in 2000, 2001. So we'd go to Cactus Jack's, have drinks, and you could smoke inside. So we'd be inside smoking cigarettes, which I always thought was cool. When I smoked cigarettes, I always loved smoking inside. I would go through a fucking pack in 2 hours because I just loved smoking inside. I thought it was the cool thing to do. So, and I think that a lot of smokers would agree. There's a couple favorite cigarettes of the day. Smoking, the first cigarette of the day with coffee, that was one of my favorites. And then smoking after eating was another favorite. But being able to eat, finish your meal, and then push it off to the side and then light up, that was one of my favorite things to do. So, go there, have chips and dip and some fucking Coca-Cola because I was under 21. Yeah, I love to just sit there and smoke. So yeah, we went there, and obviously no smoking anymore. And I don't smoke. I haven't smoked in just over 8 years now. So I think it's been 8 years. Yeah, just over 8 years since I had a cigarette. So we went there, did that. Then we went back to the hotel and hung out. We started watching a show called Sweet Tooth on Netflix, and it's not a bad show. It's different. It's like I don't even know if it's post-apocalyptic, because it's a weird post-apocalyptic. Like, the disease is that there's kids being born as half animal, right? So you get like a kid that's born as like a tiger, like half tiger, and you get kids being born as like half goat, that type of shit. So it's an interesting show. And I mean, it's not, I don't know if it's a binge, like, something so different about Ro and I is that, like, if I find a show that I really like I will binge that show. I'll finish it in a night. Well, I've told you guys before, I think, that, like, that's not us. Like, WandaVision, we started watching that. I think that show was like 9 episodes. And we started watching it when there was like 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 episodes available. I probably would have watched that show over the course of a night or two. And it took us weeks to watch it. There's other shows. There's other examples of shows that I can't really think of. Like, maybe The Boys is a good example, where it's like I would watch, like, that's a show that the entire season is released all at once, and I would watch that over the course of 2 nights. And with us, it's more like, we might watch 1 or 2 episodes a week. Loki just came out, and a month ago, almost a month ago, Loki came out, and that one only comes out once a week. But still, like, I would watch that, like, we just started watching it the other night. I would have watched all of the available episodes over the course of a couple nights. And we watched 1 episode, and then it's like, okay, ready to go to bed. Which isn't even a her thing entirely. It's more of a, I don't know, for some reason, at her place, I just get so fucking tired. Like, the end of the night comes, like, before Row, my normal Saturday night before Row was, I'd get home at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The girl that I was living with wouldn't get home until like fucking midnight or 1 in the morning. And my normal night would be to get home at 5 o'clock, sleep until like 6:30, 7 o'clock, get up, cook something for myself to eat, probably like a steak or something. And then by 8 o'clock, 8:30, I'm sitting in my chair with my laptop on my lap and watching something. I don't whatever it may be, I'm watching something. And just drink all fucking night. Just, beer and whiskey, beer and whiskey, beer and whiskey. Fucking drink, take a drink of whiskey and chase it with a drink of beer. Just all night long. And usually crush at least half a bottle of bourbon, if not more. By the time midnight, 1 in the morning rolls around and she's getting home, I'm fucking hammered out of my face, down some YouTube rabbit hole watching shitty fucking music videos, like watching Moonshine Bandits on repeat or something, just taking in every single second of the video. And it was such a bad existence. And I haven't bought a bottle of bourbon since February. Obviously, I'm still drinking beer, and I don't. The beer is good because it's like a little buzz, but I'm not fucking falling down, which is great. I don't know what the fuck is going on upstairs. I don't know what's going on up there. There's dogs running around. There's things falling down. Who the fuck knows what's happening? But I would drink so hard, and now I haven't bought a bottle of bourbon since February. I haven't had a drink of whiskey since April 24th. And the other night, Wednesday, so like usually like once a week, me and Rose spend a night apart from each other. So this past week it was a Wednesday night, and and so I went and said, I went and saw her after work. Maybe not. Did some mating, maybe, I don't know. And then I leave her to come to my place, and I had to stop to get something to eat on my way. Meaning I was going to Market Basket to get something to cook on the grill. So the liquor store is right next to Market Basket. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get a bottle of bourbon so that I can, I'm just gonna have a glass. I'm gonna get a bottle of bourbon, and then I'm just gonna, after I eat dinner tonight, while I'm sitting there on the bed watching a movie or watching a show, I ended up starting Bosch season 7, which is so good, and I hate that it's the last season. But so I watched this. So I'm pulling into the liquor store parking lot, and as I'm pulling into the parking lot, I'm thinking to myself, I haven't bought a bottle of bourbon in 4 months, and I'm gonna break that streak. Like, why would I do that? So I just drove straight on through the parking lot and continued on my way. It's not the end of bourbon for me. I still want to have a bourbon, have a glass here and there if I can. But I was flying the next day, and I just started thinking about, like, the big thing was that I haven't bought a bottle since February. That was like my big deterrent for why I'm not going to buy this bottle right now. But I'm also thinking, like, all those mornings when I woke up feeling like shit, all the work that I'm putting into running every day, and if I drink, have a glass, am I gonna end up getting fucked up tonight? And tomorrow morning I gotta wake up at 5 in the morning and not want to get out of bed, and am I gonna fuck all this shit up? Like, the things that I'm like working for right now, am I gonna fuck it all up? So by doing this, so I just continued on. I just drove straight on through the parking lot and didn't bother. Not saying that's the last time that'll happen. I'm sure that it'll happen more. But like last year, last September we go to, like I did. Me and Ro went to Federal Cigar to do an episode of Shit Happens When You Party Naked. Shouts out to Jason. We did an episode there, and so I'm looking at their bourbon selection on the wall, and they get this Blue Label bottle of Basil Hayden's. Now, I love regular Basil Hayden's bourbon, so I was like, what's the Blue Label there? And the girl behind the bar says, it's Basil Hayden's Caribbean Rye. It's a bourbon that's finished in rum barrels, in Caribbean rum barrels. So I was like, yeah, I'll have a glass of that. So I take a glass of that night, and it is so delicious. I mean, it's just so smooth and just has this really great finish to it. And yeah, I loved it. So, but only a few days later was the start of Sober October. So I didn't buy any bourbon throughout October last year. And I didn't realize that this Caribbean rum, or Caribbean rye rather, because I usually hate rye whiskey to begin with. I didn't realize that this was a limited release. And by the time the end of Sober October comes around, I can't find it on the shelves anymore at the liquor store. So I tell Ro about this, and she is a little hunter-gatherer, and she will, if you tell her you're looking for something, she'll find it without fail. Um, so right before Thanksgiving, I think, she found one store not too far away. It wasn't like she went way out of her way. It was a few towns over from Portsmouth at the liquor store. They had 3 bottles left, so she went and bought a bottle there. And I think this bottle was like $45, maybe $50. So she buys me a bottle there, and I still have about a glass worth of that bottle. I'm saving it because she's working this cold case right now. So I'm saving it for when she solves this cold case, which I know she will. I'm waiting for her to solve this cold case, and then we will finish that. The couple glasses that are left there. We'll each have a glass of this bourbon while we sit on the back porch and reminisce over the years that this cold case has gone on. So yeah, the moral of the story is I did not buy bourbon that night. I don't know, I have no idea when I will again. I know I will again. Oh, but the that Basil Hayden's Caribbean rye, she looked it up because I told her the other day, like, because what I did was I messaged Basil Hayden's to ask if they were going to be coming back out with it, and they replied back and said, no, sorry, this was a limited run. We're not doing it again. Which may or may not be true. Who knows? I mean, it was clearly very popular. So I told her that. She looked it up and found it. She found places online that are selling it like $200 a bottle because you can't get it anymore. So I have about a half a bottle of it at our place in Maine, and then I have those 2 glasses left in Portsmouth. And her and I are going to Virginia this summer for a weekend, and when we go down there, she found a liquor store in I think New Jersey that still is selling it. So we're gonna try and stop in New Jersey and buy a bottle there. So that's what's up with my bourbon and Basil Hayden's. But speaking of, I mentioned flying a minute ago. So I had another fly. Actually, you know what? Let me do some advertising. Uh, First up tonight is going to be Manscaped. So firstly, June is over, so I don't need to read their read anymore. I'm just gonna read it myself because the code still works. So fuck 'em. Manscaped.com. You can go to manscaped.com, and you know what? So my friend Matt, I think is maybe what he goes by. Um, I don't know. The guy that hosts the Fumbled Penis podcast. Um, he talked some shit on Manscaped a few weeks ago on his show. And if you came here to get my take on Manscaped because of what you heard on his show, you might be disappointed to find that I mostly agree with him. Um, See, Manscaped really pushes out the whole. They have this trimmer thing and whatever, and I do think that the trimmer is great, but don't stop at the trimmer. You know, I don't know why anyone would stop at the trimmer. Like, don't. Why would you stop there? Like I've always used a razor on my good and plenties, on the boys, on the old balls, and I don't know what are some other euphemisms for the ball bag and the shaft. You know, bag of fun. That's a good one. Bag of fun. Bag of tricks. Bag of toys. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been doing this for, I don't know, close to 20 years. Keeping everything neat and clean down there. And I don't know why anyone would just stop. I remember there was an episode of Entourage, and Turtle. What a great show that was. Turtle, he like goes down on this girl, and she's completely shaved, which is how it should be. I don't know. Like, this show was recorded in like 2010 or 11 or something like that, and he's shocked to find that she's completely shaved. And I was like, why would you be surprised by that? Like, have you not watched porn for the last 20 years? Like, that's what everyone does. That's the way to be. And he was shocked that she was completely shaved, and he wasn't shaved at all. He was just letting a wild jungle grow down there, which, not nice. If you're a guy, it's not kind at all to just let that shit grow wild. You need to really be taking care of everything you got, all of it, all the way from your tailbone all the way to your belly button, in kind of a U shape, if you will. You need to take care of all of that and make sure that it's nice and clean down there, right? If someone's going to be kind enough to put their mouth in that area, then you should be making sure that all of it is nice and clean and taken care of. And then he shaves everything, and he was embarrassed by it, and this girl was like, men are supposed to trim, not completely shave, which I was completely against this girl. Like, who just trims? Who would just take this razor and just, get things down so that there's still some rubbage going on there. Like I don't want Velcro on my balls. That's what it seems like. If you do that, if you just, take things down a little bit, I mean, why would you do that? So I am not against Larry. I'm just going to call him Larry. I don't know what he goes by, because I asked him once to be on my show, and he was like, I mean, I can be, but I don't want to be on video. So I don't, like, how do you say that I don't get that, man. How do you say that you want to host a podcast, but you want to be anonymous in your hosting of the podcast? Like, people can find you. You've put yourself out into the public specter. People can find you if they want to. They're going to. That's kind of the thing that, Jason from Shit Happens, changed all of his shit to Patreon because, the prospect of like job interviews type of thing, which I get. If you're going to put yourself out like this, then people are going to find it. Like, if I wanted to say, go back to law enforcement, I could go and do the hiring process, do the physical fitness test and whatever, and then they're going to do a background on me, and one of the first places that they're going to go is to my Facebook page, and one of the first things that they're going to see is the podcast, and then they're going to be like, they're going to listen. There's like 126 episodes of this show. They're going to listen to it all, and they're going to be like, you're not going to fit in here. And then the same thing applies to Jason or Larry. Either one of them, they can search you, find you, figure out what you're doing. And even if you try to put it behind a paywall, I mean, what's it cost? $3? I think that Jason's is $3. They're going to pay, they're going to be like, yeah, sure, we'll throw down $3 to find out what's really on this guy's mind. And then they're going to find out anyways. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that it works like that. I think that if you're going to put yourself out into the public, then you may as well just be open about who the fuck you are in reality, because it's impossible to do this kind of thing and not and stay anonymous. You can't. You're gonna get figured out. They're gonna figure out who you are. So, but anyways, I digress. Jason, it's not Jason. Larry, we'll call him, from Fumbled Penis Podcast. He talks a lot of shit on Manscaped, and I'm with you. Trim if you need to, get the fucking lawnmower if you're the type of person that shaves their nuts every 4 months or something, maybe, because you can't really, with that much growth, it's going to take a lot of work with the razor. I don't necessarily sign on with him saying, go get a Dollar Tree razor. I don't think that's a good idea, but, go and get a, get the lawnmower, use offer code adulting, get your whatever 20% off to get that thing, and free shipping, and then you trim up, you shave off the long hairs, and then you get a regular razor. I do prefer a Gillette 5-blade razor, again, against Larry. I like the 5-blade razor. I genuinely think that the one swipe is worth 5 with a single blade. I like a 5-blade razor. So then you finish up there, get everything nice and smooth, and maybe then you just after that it's just upkeep. But if you get behind by a few weeks and you look down once and you're like, oh my god, there is a jungle down there, then you break that lawnmower back out with the flashlight and the fucking switchblade and ATM card and all this other stuff that comes on them. So that's my Manscaped. That's the new Manscaped ad read. Use offer code adulting, get 20% off plus free shipping. And hell, I think my ad read was even longer than their fucking copy that they sent me. Okay, let's move on. I'll do more advertising later. So flying, I went flying the other day, and I wasn't happy with it. Talked to my instructor afterwards, and he told me, a lot. He was helpful in like not get yourself down, and talked to Ro later that night, told her the whole thing. And she's funny because I'm telling her like I did really bad, and then I'm telling her the story, and she's just like giving this fake smile while nodding her head and the entire expression on her face says like, do you hear yourself right now? Here's what happened, right? So firstly, we take off, and within I don't know, a minute or maybe a little bit over a minute from taking off, the batteries in my headset die. So I wear these headsets that are legit noise canceling. Like once you turn these things on, you can't hear, you don't hear the sound. You hear the sounds of the engine a little bit, but not nearly as loud. And there's a microphone hooked up to it, so you can talk to each other, and you can hear the control tower. When the power's off on these noise canceling headsets, like you can barely hear the control tower. You can barely hear anything that's being said. So my batteries die almost immediately, but I had noticed that in the pack that my headset comes in was a new set of batteries. So my instructor hands me the pack with the batteries in it, and he says, "You want me to take control while you switch out the batteries?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So he flies the plane for this period. I take this, and I'm fucking around with the batteries, and I lost a battery. Like I put one battery in, like I take the dead batteries out, put them in my pocket, and I go to put the new batteries in, and one of the new batteries pops right out and falls on the ground. And I search around for it for a minute, trying to find it. I can't find it. And so then I take one of the batteries that was just dead and put that in, hoping that maybe these batteries will just last for the duration of the flight. The batteries will last, right? So that seemed to work for a little while. But I mean, that was the first thing that went wrong. Like right from that point, I was just like, we may as well fucking land the plane right now and go back. That's what I should have said. I didn't say that, but, and going back, like I had actually canceled a flight. Like I had a flight scheduled for the week before, and I canceled it because I just couldn't afford it. I looked at my bank account, and I looked at the things that need to be paid, and I just couldn't afford it. So I told Ro, I canceled. I rescheduled my flight for another day because I just can't afford it. And she was like, "That's a good idea. That's very responsible of you." And then the next week, last Tuesday, again, I'm looking at my bank account, and I was like, I just can't justify spending this much money this week. And I told Ro I'm going to cancel the flight. And she was like, "Don't cancel the flight. Let me talk to you first." So we talked, and she was like, "I really think you need to fly." Like, like I've told her like that hour that I'm flying, maybe a little over an hour, that time is, I can't look at my phone. I can't think about anything else. I'm only focused on flying. I can't think about what's going on with my dad. I can't think about, me and Ro. I can't think about my kids. I can't think about bills that I owe. I can't think about, the person that annoyed me at work. I can't think about any of that shit. All I can think about is the plane and flying and where I'm going and what do I need to do next. That's all I can think about. So she was like, "You need to go fly. You've got so much going on right now, and this is what you've told me before about flying, and you need to go do it so that you can, have a minute to, not be thinking about all this other stuff. You can go and do something that you actually love doing, and it's for you, and you can come out of the sky and you can tell me all about it." So, I mean, I'm glad that I went. I am glad that I went, but I was still that was just the first thing that was like, this is not going good. Now, the next 45 minutes or so actually went really good. I think that I mentioned way back in November, like, I was having a real problem with stalls. I kept fucking it up, and I was so pissed at myself because I was pissed at myself because I just felt like I couldn't get it. Like, why am I not getting this? Why is this not working? So we go up and we did a few stalls, and I fucking nailed them. I did really good at them. So that was a good thing. And then we did some steep turns, which I love steep turns because you're going fast. Like you need to start a steep turn at 92 miles an hour. So, I did steep, and you're turning so that the wings are at a 45-degree angle. So you're really banked over really far. And you can feel the gravity, you can feel the G-force pushing you down into the seat when you make these steep turns. So that's really fun for me. I really enjoy those. Um, so we did a few steep turns, and then we fly back to Portsmouth because we're going to do some landings, right? Because landings are kind of what I need to work on. So we fly back to Portsmouth, and as we're getting to Portsmouth, fucking everyone in the world decided it was time to take off and land. I mean, we pull up, and I don't know how the traffic controller was handling it, because he's fucking putting everyone in line for takeoffs and landing, and I mean the radio was just jammed up with people, and he's having me do, the traffic control was having me extend downwind like a mile because there's too many people coming in and taking off. Like I'm in line, and I'm like sixth in line. So there's just a lot going on, and trying to keep up with the radio was a little stressful, but nothing that I couldn't handle. Like, I was able to handle it, but again, now my fucking batteries in the headset are dying, so I'm also having a hard time hearing traffic control. Um, so we land once, and it just was not, we landed 3 times. We did 3 different landings, and out of the 3, I didn't think fucking any of them were good. My instructor said that I had one bad landing, but I didn't think that I had any of them. I didn't think any of them were good. So we do the first landing, not terrible, but not good, and then we take back off. We go back up into the traffic pattern. We come back around to land, and on this one, I'm going way too slow. Like, you need to land, like, when you get down about 10 feet above the runway, you should be doing about 60 miles an hour, 60 knots. You should be doing about 60 knots. And you can't go below 57. And I was doing 50. And so I was going way too slow. And the problem is that when you're going that slow, you end up putting yourself in a stall. And for me to be 3,500, 4,000 feet up in the air and do a stall when there's plenty of room for recovery, there's over half a mile of recovery, that's fine. But when you're trying to land, and if you stall the plane, you have about 10 feet, and it's not enough to recover. So I was going way too slow and practically slammed the fucking plane onto the runway. I mean, I didn't damage the plane, and we both lived, obviously, so that's a good thing. Like, that, I've read many a time that any landing you can walk away from is good. But it was just, I mean, we hit the fucking the runway, and my instructor goes, "Ew," and I was like, "Yeah, I know." And we went around, did one more landing, and that one wasn't great either. So I think the moral of the story is that I can't put 6 weeks between flying time. Like chair flying is something that I can do right now, sitting here. I can just do chair flying. Um, Watching the videos and listening to podcasts about landing and stuff like that, like, it's all good information and good practice, but really the only good practice is to get up there and actually do it. It's like dry firing a handgun. Dry firing a handgun is great technique. It's great it's great practice to sit there and dry fire your handgun. Know when the trigger is going to break, and it makes things better and easier. But really, you're not going to get that good practice unless you get out to the range and actually put rounds through the fucking gun. So yeah, I was really disappointed. I was angry with myself. I was pissed. We get back to the hangar, and he says, "How do you think it went?" And I was like, "Fucking terrible." And he laughs, and he's like, "Why do you think it went bad?" I was like, "Because of that fucking landing." I said all 3 of those landings sucked. They all sucked. And he was like, "The landings weren't that bad. You had one bad landing, but the other 2 were fine." And he was very encouraging about it all. And he said, like, "Don't forget, like, you also did the stalls really good. You did the steep turns really good. Your conversations with air traffic control are really good. Like, you did all this other stuff really good. It was one bad landing." And he was like, "You have less than 20 hours. You've been flying for less than 20 hours. Of course you had one bad landing." Like, he said, "I have over 1,000 hours of flying. I had a bad landing just last week." So, and it sucks too, because I'm losing him. He's, I ran into him about 2 weeks ago. I delivered to a place, and he happened to be there while I'm delivering. It's this place called Plane Sense. It's a I call it an air taxi company. They have like a fleet of airplanes, and they fly. I've seen them fly from here to like Cleveland or whatever. They'll fly. It's not like, I don't think they do like cross country stuff. They might do some cross country stuff because I think they have a couple jets too, but it's mostly turboprop planes that are like 20 or 30 passenger planes. And I've seen them before. I've done some of their. I have an app called Flight Radar, which any plane that's in the air right now, I can pull up and look up and see where they come from, where are they going. So I've seen Plane Sense before, coming from like New York, coming from Cleveland, coming from North Carolina. So I run into him there, and he says, I'm interviewing for a job with them. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. That's great. And then during, when I was doing pre-flight on Thursday, he told me that he got the job, and I was congratulating him. I said, hey man, that's awesome. Good for you. That's great stuff. And but I'm losing him, and I'm gonna have to be assigned to a different instructor, which I'll probably end up losing them too. Like, I don't expect to get my private license for another year and a half, maybe 2 years. At the rate that I fly, probably a year and a half, 2 years before I get my license. And in that course of time, it's likely that, because it's kind of the natural progression. You get, if flying is what you want to make your career, if you're not a person like my friend Scott who went to college for it, if flying is what you want to do for a career, then you can, you end up like me. You go and you get your private license, and then after your private license, you get your certified flight instructor. After your certified flight instructor, you get a job at a place like CHI, and you teach, because the teaching hours count as hours towards your flying, right? So every time me and Jack go up in the air, he's also getting an hour and change of flight time to put in his log. You get that time in the air, you get all that time of flying, and then you progress to going to a private company of some sort to fly for them. I don't know what, he asked me what, because I said like, oh yeah, if that hadn't happened, I intended to ask you on this flight, like, what's your goal? Like, where do you want to go from here? Do you always want to work for CHI, just training people like me? And he said, he said his goal is to just fly bigger and faster planes. For me, like, what's my goal? I don't know that I necessarily have one. I want to get my private pilot license. That's what I want. I want to get that license. I want to be able to fly by myself from here to, like, I want to be able to go to CHI and say, hey, I want to rent a plane for the weekend and fly from here to Rangeley to hang out for the weekend with my dad, and then fly back to Portsmouth. Like, that's kind of my goal. If I can get more certifications that allow me to do it for hire, great. If I can get the certification, if someone's like, hey, I have a plane, but I don't have a license and I need someone to fly me from A to B. Yeah, sure. I'll do that. I'll do that for fucking short money, probably. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So, but anyways, I didn't think it went well. Jack was incredibly encouraging after the flight, saying, the things that he did. And then I went home and talked to Ro about it, and she was also incredibly encouraging. Like, and I never once felt like, oh, I had a bad landing, I'm not going to do this anymore, which is my MO in the past, to do bad at something and be like, fuck this, I give up. That's not what I felt at all. I felt more like I need to figure out a way to do this more often than I'm doing. That's what I felt. So, and in doing that, I started like finding every possible thing I could cut out of my life. I canceled memberships to places. I'm finding a way to get my snowmobile out of the storage unit, because that'll save a bunch of money every month. I'm just trying to find all these different things to cancel and get rid of, so that I never have to, so that I can fly more often. Cutting bourbon out of my life has made a big difference, because I was probably spending $400 a month on bourbon. So, yeah, that's how flying went. Let me talk about some Adam and Eve. What's going on over at AdamEve.com? I only have to type in AD and it pops up. Um, let's see here. Best selling. You know what? Indulgent bath and body. I wonder what's up with that. That's the first thing that pops up when you go to the website. Bath and shower. What do they got on bath and shower? Scented Coochie shave cream, $14.96. And don't forget to use offer code adulting to get 50% off of that, plus free shipping, plus the romance kit, plus DVDs, all that stuff. How about Sexy Surprise Bath Bomb? Now, this I'm interested in. Not for myself, but it looks like it comes with something that's battery operated. Excuse me. Heart-shaped bath bomb hides a surprise inside. Shh, the surprise is a naughty, vibrating bullet. Give your sweetheart 2 gifts in one gorgeous package. This fizzy bath bomb is shaped like a heart, so it's a great way to show your love. And when you run a steamy bath and drop it inside, you'll watch as it fizzes away, turning the bath water into a skin-pampering paradise scented with strawberries and champagne. Get in and you'll discover the bath bomb's hidden surprise, a naughty waterproof bullet vibrator. Soak in this luxurious bath and explore each other with your brand new vibrating bullet at the same time. This set makes a great gift for couples to share. And that is $9.71. What else do we got here? Miracle Oil Shaving Collection. Hemp seed bath and shower gel. I can't believe Manscaped hasn't caught on to this. Manscaping rechargeable kit. A complete manscaping experience in one handy rechargeable kit. Also trims beards, sideburns, body hair, girlfriends, and wives. That's a weird way to put all of that. Because it's only commas. There's no periods there. Also trims beards, sideburns, body hair, girlfriends, and wives. If you've ever tried manscaping your most sensitive hairy areas, you know how tricky, prickly a process it can be. Now you can avoid awkward nicks and cuts with this pro-level kit. It even comes in a hard shell storage case, so you can't hurt it. Oh, and she can use it too. This kit is a great deal. Manscaping rechargeable kit, cordless rechargeable clipper and razor. Cuts and trims all facial and body hair with precision. 2 precision stainless steel cutting heads, full size and precision. 4 different guide combs for full size trimmer. Special guide comb for precision cut and trimmer. USB charging cable, ergonomic 6.5 inch by 1.5 inch handle. It's cord free. Instruction manual, hard shell zip up storage case, and it's from Bathmate. What's going on in the for him pills and supplements? You know what? For pills and supplements, someone should make one called like Doctors Without Boners, and they should be like, our proceeds all go towards giving a man in Switzerland a boner. These poor men in Switzerland, they used up all of their boner power in their teens and in their 20s. And now they don't have any more boner power. At Doctors Without Boners, we use all of our proceeds to go towards doctors going to Switzerland to give pills to old men so that they can still get boners. Doctors Without Boners. And you can look at Doctors Without Boners at adameve.com and use offer code adulting. They have award-winning customer service, an award-winning website. And you take 50% off any one item with offer code adulting. Get free shipping plus the romance kit, a gift for him, a gift for her, a gift for both of you, and 6 free DVDs, which are videos on demand. Actually, it comes with a little business card that you just scan in and go to the website, and there's your movies. So that's what's up with adameve.com this week. What else do I got to talk about here? I think I'm just about done. Yeah. I'm going to do, First of all, I'm down 10 pounds, almost 10 pounds. It's 9 pounds. I'm rounding up. I'm down 9 pounds since I started my endeavor of running and exercising every day. I get, every day I run at least a mile, right? So Monday, Wednesday, Friday are run days. So like today I ran 2.5 miles. Maybe by the end of the week I'll be running 3. But then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are weights days. So I run at least a mile on the treadmill. Like I have a 3-minute warm up, and then I run for a mile, and then I have a 2-minute cool down. And so in the last 3 weeks, I've lost 9 pounds, which has me feeling really good about myself. Even though I don't see much of a difference right now, I'm hoping that, in another week or two, I'll actually be able to see like a notable difference. So that's been good. It's worth the $25 to spend at the gym every month. So that's good. But, what did I want to talk about? That's not what I wanted to talk about. I think that maybe that is all that. So Ro and I went to go see. Actually, you know what? Pause that right there. Firstly, Ro and I went to go see her family yesterday, because yesterday was 4th of July. So we went down to Massachusetts. Her sister lives in Massachusetts, so we went down there. And it was an awesome time. Party wasn't until like 2 o'clock. I think we got there 2:30, fashionably late. That's what we do, fashionably late to the party. But I mean, food wasn't even served until like 4 o'clock, so it was fine. But it was a great time. Like, I love her sister. I love her brother-in-law, Nick. Nick is the one that I went snowmobiling with back in March. Their kid is just a blast to watch run around and stuff. And he had us playing fucking wiffle ball. He was playing soccer with Ro. He rescued some little baby bunnies, and then by the end of the night reunited the baby bunnies with Mama Bunny. So that was nice. They got this wild dog. It's a I think it's called a Rhodesian Ridgeback. So like there's this line. I've never seen one. It seems like they're more popular since I ever learned about them. But I met this dog a year ago, and it's got this line of hair down the center of its back, where it's reversed from the rest of the hair. So like all the hair on like your dog or cat's body that flows one direction. On this dog, all the hair flows one direction, except this one line down the center of its back flows in the opposite direction. So, but she's a cool dog. She's fun, super friendly. So we had a great time. Her father was there, and I've got to meet him a few times now in the past year. And we always really enjoy talking to each other. So it was like I spent probably an hour just talking to him. Like everyone's doing whatever they're doing around us, but me and him were kind of off in our own worlds. He served in Vietnam, and I served in Iraq, and so it was just cool to talk to him for a little while. And we had a really great conversation. And I won't go into it too much because it feels like it was more like a counseling than it was talking to a friend. But yeah, we had a really great conversation and great fucking food. Oh my God, her brother-in-law Nick cooked ribs, and God, they were so good. Luckily, they let us take some home. So I'll be enjoying those tonight probably. But her sister made collard greens, which had some heat on them, and they were delicious, and macaroni and cheese. And her sister bakes, and she's a fucking killer baker. I don't feel bad that none of you will ever get to experience her baking. She sent us home with some blueberry bread that I guess she was like, I don't know, it's kind of dry. And we got home, and she sent us each home with 2 slices of blueberry bread. And Ro gave me just a tiny little bite of her portion of that too. And I mean, as soon as I took a bite out of it, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. She made a key lime pie, and again, took a bite of that, and I was like, good God, this is delicious. And she was like, it was my first time making it. I was like, I wouldn't know that if you didn't tell me. So yeah, we had an awesome time, lighting off sparklers with their son. And yeah, just, it was a fucking great 4th of July. It was a lot of fun. But last week, last week, Ro and I went to go see Fast and Furious 9. I had asked her like a few days, like maybe a little over a week ago now, probably like a week and a half ago now. I said, hey, do you want to go see a movie on Tuesday night? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. Do you want to go see Fast and Furious 9 or The Hitman's Wife Bodyguard? Which, if it was my choice, it would have been Hitman's Wife Bodyguard. But I offered the choice to her. It would have been because Fast 9 was, it's just a ridiculous set of movies, and I love Ryan Reynolds. So her response to that was, geez, I don't know, your love of Ryan Reynolds versus the movie you can't stop talking about. So she chose Fast and Furious 9. So that's what we went to go see. I will say the best part, I think, of the entire movie, no spoilers, best part of the movie, they did finally address how fucking ridiculous these movies are. In a very subtle way, through the words and actions of Tyrese, they finally addressed just how fucking ridiculous these movies are. And that was a surprise to me. I never ever would have guessed that they would address how ridiculous these. I thought they would just keep going on with just like, like I think I mentioned it a long time ago with the Hobbs and Shaw movie. Like Jason Statham comes, or not Jason Statham, I think it's Idris Elba. Someone comes flying out of a building in a little dune buggy, doing a barrel roll and shooting a gun during the barrel roll. And my opinion on that is like, it's ridiculous because, you're probably not going to hit your target. But that bullet does have to go somewhere. It has to hit something. So there is the odds are like, compared to like your DNA. Like your DNA matches, your DNA is a match to 1 in like 18 quadrillion. Like there is probably about a similar chance of your bullet hitting its target when you're upside down in a dune buggy falling through the air. But it does have to hit something. So, that was just kind of how I always took these movies. Like, if they're shooting while fucking driving, the bullet has to go somewhere. And all these fucking insane things that they do, like some of them, like in the trailer for Fast and Furious 9, where Dom swings his car around an island. That's the type of thing where I'm like, there's not a chance. That one doesn't work at all. That's not an actual thing. It can't happen. There's no like, oh, maybe this would ever work. It's not. Especially if you see the movie. The other one, also in the trailer, is them climbing up the fucking ladder in the Jeep. Like, no, that's not how science works. The fucking, the bridge is out. It's falling down, and you have a Jeep on it. You can put it in 4-wheel drive all you want, shift gears, I don't care. You're not going to continue to climb up this fucking wooden ladder. So, but the movie overall, I don't, everyone was like, oh, it's the best one in the series. It's the best one so far. I still stand by my statement. Fast and Furious 5 is the best one, with Fast and Furious 6 as a close second. And maybe, Fast and Furious 9 is probably on par with like Hobbs and Shaw. Except maybe, I guess Hobbs and Shaw didn't bring any of them into it. Whereas there is a small cameo from Jason Statham in Fast and Furious 9. Supposedly they're all coming back together for Fast and Furious 10. So, hopefully, I don't know. I think I thought I heard that there was going to be 2 more movies after this one, but I've also heard that there was going to be 2 more movies in general. So the next one might be the last one, or maybe there might be one more after it. I don't know. It does seem ridiculous that they just keep going on, and they could. You know what? They don't. It's like the show Supernatural. It doesn't need to end. It never needs to end. These movies can just go on forever. Supernatural could have and probably should have just gone on forever. Nobody's watching fucking Walker Texas Ranger with Jared Padalecki. Nobody gives a fuck about that show. And Jensen Ackles apparently has some new TV show coming out. I don't want to watch that either. If they're not fucking fighting ghosts, then I don't care. So, all right. I think that's going to do it for me. Yeah, I think I got everything that I need to off my fucking chest. And I gave you guys an extra long episode because I missed one last week, an hour and 10 minutes in. So, apologies for missing last week. But again, with things going on with my dad right now, Sometimes it might just be hard to find things funny, or to or to find time to do anything. So I am going to shut this down, upload it, and then I have some fireworks of my own to go watch because Ro got forced into work. So I'm gonna go, and me and Stan are gonna go and watch the fireworks together like a couple of fairies. Um, so that's gonna do it for me. Suicide prevention line 1-800-273-8255. Yeah, and you can find me Adulting Donnie on Instagram, Adulting with Donnie podcast on Facebook. Oh, and the Facebook group. I fucking forgot to mention on the last episode. There is a Adulting with Donnie Facebook group called it's called Fuck. That's what it's called. It's called Fuck. That would be cool though, to just rename the group to Fuck. Let me see here. It's like Adulting Donnie's Super Secret Club, I think is what it's called. I want to find the exact name of the group so that so it's called Adulting Donnie Super Secret Club. Adulting Donnie Super Secret Club. Go there, find that club. It's got the avatar for the podcast, so it's impossible to miss. Invite your friends, post in there all you want, post your thoughts on the show, post memes, post news articles, post whatever you think is going to be apropos for me to talk about on here. It's easier than the fucking like page to follow a Facebook group. It's more interactive. There's more people talking on there. Yeah, so Adulting Donnie Super Secret Club, which obviously isn't very secretive. It's like making a Patreon to hide your identity, or telling people that you don't want them to know your name even though you host a fucking podcast. Adulting Donnie Super Secret Club. Go join, invite your friends, invite everyone, tell your parents, and then they can come and join the club too. All right, that's going to do it for me. Bye, everyone.